The dollar has been mooted as a safe haven currency for 2012. Today I'm here with Paresh Davdra of RationalFX to talk about the future of the dollar in the coming year. What is your outlook on the dollar for 2012?
We see it really as strengthening. Right now, with all the problems in Europe and the continuing bad news coming out of Europe, and every time they say that they're going to think of a solution, they postpone the decision time, which is continuing to add momentum on the dollar strength at the moment. So that plus problems in Iran and anything like that escalating, which would obviously have a direct impact on oil, would indicate that the dollar should strengthen further throughout the year. And
I mean, what has created this environment which allows the dollar to be understood as a safe haven currency? I think the ultimate thing here is that out of all the economies, and however bad the US economy is doing, ultimately they are still the most powerful and biggest economy in the world. And given that, if you're an investor and you're placing your funds somewhere and you see instability and uncertainty, you want to move your funds and put them where you feel they will be safe. The dollar does continue to strengthen throughout the year. What do you think would be the implications that we would see for commodities like gold, which have previously been seen as the safe haven, especially last year?
I do think that gold would continue to be a safe haven, and I also think that the cost of gold would also increase. So gold still would remain a very good investment. It would be quite negative for things like oil, because the cost of oil would also increase, which would have a direct impact on energy and fuel prices, etc., which obviously is going to hurt individuals' pockets.
So, I mean, what would be the implications of a stronger dollar for the US economy itself?
Well, they as you know, have a very large trade deficit, and they're very reliant on their exports. Although they import a lot, they're extremely reliant on their exports, and that would definitely hurt them in that sense. So that would hurt their exports. That would hurt the amount of money that's being invested into the US as well, because it's more expensive. So it would probably be quite negative, and we'd probably see intervention, and intervention would probably come from the likes of countries like China as well, who have a very large reserve, and who are pegged really to the US dollar. So
what kind of ceiling limit? I mean, I know no one has a crystal ball, but what kind of ceiling limit do you think the dollar would reach, say, against the pound or against the euro this year?
Against the pound, we think that we could see it go to about 150, which is not very far from at the moment. Worst case scenario, maybe 145, but that would I think that would only happen if we saw some negative news out of the UK. If
the dollar is set to strengthen throughout the year and does gain ground on the sterling and the euro, when would be an optimum time for investors to look at buying into the dollar, or what kind of flashpoints should they be aware of if they're thinking of buying the dollar at any point this year?
Well, I think that right now is a good time to invest, because at the moment, you know, there's a lot of instability in Europe, and it's very clear that there's more bad news to come. So that right now would be a good time. I mean, obviously you're never going to see it go in a straight line, but if you can take a long-term view, at least over 6 months, then generally speaking, you're likely to have made a good decision to buy the dollar now.